Well, hello, everyone, and welcome back to the chat. I am your lovely host, Prince Michael. I am joined by the beautiful stepologist herself, Regina Platt, the pretty girl that wears 20 pearls, Miss Ebony Saunders, and we are your hosts. So we got a few announcements for you all on today. Y'all see I'm like on cloud 40 right now, okay? First of all, if you are joining us where you can see this live, I'm pretty sure you see this beautiful crown that adorns my head. That is because this is our last episode of the season, 1. And 2, it is my birthday in 2 days. So you guys will not get a chance to see me for my birthday unless I actually post or do something like that. So I decided, to let you guys come and celebrate me on tonight, okay? And yeah, so before we start, I have a few things I want to say. So before I actually decided to make this show a podcast, this show was actually originally going to be a TV show. And I had paid for everything. I had signed the contracts and I was just like, okay, I'm ready, y'all. I was broke after I did it, y'all, but I was just like, okay, I'm ready. Fast forward, life happens. Things did not pan out the way that I was expecting them to. And I said, okay, you know what? I'm just going to buy myself out this contract. Got super broke. Anyway, so fast forward, I was just sitting on this idea and I kept saying, I really want to do something that's different. I want to do something that's me. And I love to talk, child. I don't know if y'all can tell, honey, but I love to talk. And I was just like, Ebony, don't do me. Anyway, So, I love to engage in conversations with people, meaningful conversation. And I love to have conversations that after people have had them, they're like, wow, I never thought about that. And the idea came to me to have a podcast, but who was I going to be on a podcast with? Was I going to do it solo dolo, or was I going to have a co-host? And then originally I was going to have just one person, but then I went to this conference that I spoke at in February. Met these beautiful individuals and never had met them before. So I know when y'all are watching the show, y'all probably think that we've known each other our entire life. I honestly just had met them and I was just like, oh, I like them, honey. They fun. I like them. So we were just like all drawn to each other. I came back to Kansas City and we were all sitting in my hotel room and we were having this conversation. And I'm like, oh my God, and the light bulb, light bulb, Lord, the light bulb just went off in my head. And I said, I think that you guys are supposed to be my co-host. Without any hesitation, they all jumped into it. And they're just like, yeah, let's do it. Things did not always pan out the way that we were expecting them to because my schedule changes like the drop of a dime. And I'm just like, okay. So I'm just so grateful because this is my baby. Y'all have no idea what's in store for season 2. I'll just give y'all a little hint, nudge, nudge. We have a lot of celebrity guests that you all know and love that are on very, very popular TV shows that are going to be joining us next season to be guests. We also have some people that want us to do commercials for them, and that's all I'm gonna tell you guys for right now. But long story short, I wanted to say thank you, Ebony, and thank you, Regina, because honestly, this show would not have been, but it could have been without you guys. You all were invaluable to me because honestly, it takes a lot to just say, yeah, I'm going to do it, but then to consistently show up every single week, because what you all don't understand and what you all don't know is that even if we pre-record it, we're pre-recording literally just a few days prior. It's not even like we're pre-recording weeks prior. This is literally days prior. Sometimes it's like the day before. And we're just like, okay, because we all have very busy schedules. But I've rectified that problem for season 2. And so I just want to say thank you all so much. I wanted to make mention, and I asked her beforehand because I wasn't sure if she was, okay with me saying it, but our beautiful stepologist, yes, y'all see she got on dangle earrings. Y'all know I love dangle earrings, baby. Let me tell you something. Oh, Lord. Anyway, because I think that is the most feminine thing a woman can wear, like earrings that move or like hoops and stuff like that. I just think that that's just so feminine. Anyway, so, and Ebony's like, yes, I know. So I wanted to make mention that Regina actually has something very special that she has coming up. And I'm going to let her briefly explain that real quick. All right, 30 seconds, girl, go.
30 seconds. Don't do
Yes,
me
30
like that.
seconds. Go.
But here we go. On July the 31st, we will be hosting a virtual conference. The virtual conference is Step into Your Future. We will have a group of women who will come on. Not only will we have a keynote speaker for you who will be dynamic, but on top of the keynote speaker, there will be a panel of wonderful women who will just tell you some of the tips and some of the steps that they have taken and some of their experiences and sit and hold space with you. I can't wait because let me access. Hold on. I'm sorry, y'all. I can't talk right now because I'm trying to figure out why this crown stuck. But the crown is stuck because it was never intended for the crown to come off. Amen. And some people have removed the crown so they can be the clown. All right. So y'all see how I try to fix that up, but go and put it back on, baby. And actually, while the dropper that the birthday was in 2 days, my birthday is on Tuesday.
Hey,
She'll be 30, y'all. She'll be 30.
Get it. But anyway, I need you all to come out and support. This will be a dynamic conversation. I need women to understand that I am wrapping around you. I see you, I hear you, I receive you. And so as we ground, we're going to lift each other up so that we can soar in this season. You got me? Tap in. July the 31st, flyers will begin to go out. Right now, I am still consistently aligning who will be there. But I have people who have motivated and inspired me that will be in a place with me. Thank you.
Yes. So now let's go ahead and let's just jump right into it. So we've already talked about mass shootings. We've already talked about the reproductive things that are going on in the country. We've already talked about all that. But one of the things that we keep hitting on that we haven't spoken about is we keep saying this is an election year. So what I wanted to ask, and I'm going to start with Miss Pretty Girl that wears 20 pearls herself. I'm going to start with her. So we all know this is an election year. Who and or what needs to be on the ticket in your opinion?
Ooh, wait.
I know it's a loaded question.
You're so right. So I really was a Biden fan. Okay, so let me put it this way. I am an anybody but horrible representation of America Trump fan. Let's put it that way. I was ready for a change. I could not believe that he even made the presidency. Just a horrible, regardless of his policies. He's one of those folks you just want to be like, stick to the teleprompter, bruh. Like the second that you start ad-libbing is when you get into all kind of trouble. Just stick to what the speech writers wrote. But for whatever reason, we all know Trump couldn't do that. So, I am pretty much pro anybody but him. The problem is with the cost of inflation, everything going up but folks' salaries, okay? My problem is we have gotten ourselves in such a sore spot recently. I don't know if Biden can get another election.
Mm-hmm.
Gas is high, food is high. And mind you, any of us that are halfway educated know that everything is not the president's fault. The president is just the fall guy that everybody loves to blame.
It's the Democrats' fault.
Right. But without getting into what my personal party choice is, Democrats ain't looking all that great right now, y'all. Like, no matter what, at the beginning of every election, somebody's going to sit back and say, well, what did this person do for me?
Mm-hmm.
And that is the most horrible, backwards way of thinking. It's not about what did they do for you. It's about what did they do for America.
Mm-hmm.
So, at the end of the day, I'll be happy as long as it's not Trump, because I feel like if that occurs, there's so much revenge and vendettas. I just don't feel like that's good medicine for the country. But I will say the current administration, when you look at the country as a whole, I just don't I get the economic stimuluses and all that, but where did that get us in the long run? We still have a heck of an inflation going on right here.
Mm-hmm.
What is that doing for us now? I feel like we paying for all that free. Like you should have saved all that free money and put it in an account so you could afford the cost of eggs right now. Like I just Not now. Look here, doggone it, in this crown. Look here.
I don't have the pins in it. That's why.
I'm extremely indifferent on different topics, depending on what the topic is. So as a whole, I just don't know. I'm a little nervous.
So let me ask you this. So if it came down to President Biden and President Trump, who do you think would win? Again, like if it came down to those two again, who do you think would prevail?
Ooh-wee.
Because it's almost like you're having to pick the less of the two evils. It's like, here you go. You have this guy who he says whatever comes to his mind, even if it's not the most educated, and he has loyal people that back him in whatever it is that he does. And some people say that he is the greatest president that we've ever had. So I kid you not, I've heard the comments. Some people say he is the greatest president we've ever had. And then you also have other people that say that, oh, well, they, because let's just be honest, a lot of people voted for President Biden because Kamala was on the ticket and they wanted to be a part of history to say, oh, I helped vote that in. You get what I'm saying? When in actuality, like now we're in a situation where even though President Trump did a whole lot of stuff that we did not like, he was always in the forefront. You knew what he was thinking. You knew what he was doing. President Obama, he was always in the forefront. You knew what he was thinking. You knew what he was doing. Right now, we have a president. Y'all heard that, right? You heard how silent that was, right? You don't hear none. You don't see none.
You know what? I need the Democrats to run on a ticket based off of policy and policy alone. Because here's the deal. For the last several sets of years, we had Obama, okay, for all general purposes, the first Black president. So folks felt like they were voting for more, like they had a reason to vote. Hey, let's, like you just said, let's be a part of voting in the first Black president of the United States of America. Okay. He gets 2 terms, comes out. Next, we still own some type of ticket here. We have the first Black vice president, and she's a woman. So I just kind of feel like the Democrats are taking off running on reasons to vote these people or this party in. Do y'all understand what I'm saying? I need y'all to stand on real solid policies and what you plan to do versus, oh, you have a real opportunity to vote the first whatever. And I feel like it's been a lot of that in the last 12 years. Give me something real and solid instead of just, oh my gosh, in your lifetime, you were able to vote the first. I don't know how I feel about that.
Okay. So I'm gonna pause you right there. Let's go ahead and let's get on over to hold on one second. Hey, Isabel, girl, some questions just don't even need to be answered. I'm going to leave that at that. Regina, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to slide on over to you, girl. And you tell me, because, baby, you look like you just bursting. Like, baby, put me in the raincoat. Put me in the game. So we're going to put you in the game. You got the ball, girl. Go ahead.
And, I'm just, because I'm floored right now, and the only thing I keep looking at across the room, it says your voice counts. The only thing I keep looking at across the room says your voice counts. And we're at a time in history where so many people have sat for years, for decades, murmuring and complaining and not took action. And we're at a time in history where we're called to take action. One of the things about Trump being in office, people came out of hiding and chose to step up and step out. And we're still at that time in history, even though we're sitting with Biden in office, we're still at that time in history where individuals, where communities, where families have to step up and speak out, right? It's not that they're just running their mouth, murmuring and complaining, but for change to happen, we got to do something. And so I'm sitting and I listen and I'm watching the televisions, but we're at a time in history where history makers, stand the hell up. Stand up right now, because you're not just standing up for yourself. You're standing up for the generations that are going to come through you, the generations that are going to speak up for you. And if we don't do something right now, we're allowing anything. So I said, you know, there's times where we lose, but there's times where in our losing, we actually win because we learn the strategy of what to do the next time. And so people are looking what's happened in the past, but you look at what's happened and realign those steps so you can go and rule and take over. And I'm like, anytime we allow ourselves to be divided within a nation based off a political party, we're never going to get what the people need. We're going to get what the party was performing for. And most on the party still are not in agreement with what happens at the end, as we've seen as they were sitting in the White House and they were going through those hearings. It was not what they wanted, right? It's like, I don't want this, but I guess I'll settle with this. It's not time for you to settle any longer. As a nation, we cannot afford to settle any longer. People from overseas are looking at us and laughing. They are overseas making comedy shows about America. America was at one point supposed to be the great, but you cannot maintain or call yourself great at anything if the only influence you have is that which came from the past, which was on the backs of those that you broke down and you destroyed. And so now we're at a time where the choice is yours. Are you going to sit in your house talking about what somebody can do or they should do? Or are you going to align and get people registered to vote? Not only getting people registered to vote, but get in the communities that understand that social justice is real. And the reason it's real is because people have to step into action. But if you're sitting back saying they don't like us, they don't see us, they don't cover us, but you ain't said nothing to those in leadership, or you did not vote and allowed your non-voting to be a movement that got them in office. I'm not murmuring and complaining with anyone, but I'm going to tell you this. I had plans to be on a vacation out chilling for my birthday this year because it's a double digit. You know what I'm saying? It's all even numbers. But we're not a time in history where we can sit the hell down. We're at a time in history where it's time to stand up. It's time to allow yourself to give up something so that you can get something, so you can awaken something, so you can transform something, so you can create that damn ripple in the waters in the midst of nowhere, that somebody can get an echo that calls out to them, I gotta be somewhere. So, you know, I'm not going to say nothing.
I will say this much. Let me say this. And y'all knew this was coming from me. The same energy that this country is getting ready to give the presidential election and upcoming election, please give and put that same energy towards your governor, your state representatives, and your city officials. Please.
Hold on, Ebony. If they don't, they gonna be real mad. They gonna be boo-boo mad right now, because locally right now is where it's hitting at. And actually, let's just be real. It's always been hitting locally.
Yes.
Me, boo-boo. You went out there and voted for the national thing. You put out there, oh, the state, I'm gonna get them in there, get them over there. But guess what? You got them in there over there, and they didn't represent nothing that you believed, because they put on a good tap dance show for you purely. And so I'm saying to people, oh, pity me if you want to. Pass me with your wine and pass me with your murmuring and complaining, and get to make sure that you gain some understanding, going through those books, going through all that data, and know those people that you're voting for. Don't be voting because she cute or he cute or they got money or they got connection. Vote because they gonna stand for what you need to be stood for. I'm sorry. Our nation has retreated too far past the point that they could almost realign slavery again in this zone. I'm just speaking the truth. I'm just saying what it is. Some people don't want to hear it, but baby, they twitching everything out and outlining it so they can get us stuck on stupid and glued to dumb while we sitting up watching and seeing what the next clothing line is, the next TV show coming out, the next song
Exactly.
in the market, and we don't know nothing about our history, nor do we know about the pain and the legacy that it's been caused. While we got fools standing up and saying, "No, I want the baby. Oh, the baby, the baby." Well, come on, baby, let me help you. They were manufacturing babies through the black body woman before you ever knew you was gonna be born into existence as a body at all. So the baby, shut up and sit down. If you ain't gonna stand up for something, back off. I'm coming for nobody. I'm coming for everybody that's sitting still. Get up. Get up.
So I'm gonna cut in real quick because I wanted to say this, and I really don't, I do my best to be tactful and politically correct, but I ain't Ebony, okay? Because I swear I don't know how Ebony just flows with how she just says stuff, and it's just so politically correct. I try, but it don't really work that way, I normally am the one that get inbox messages that's like, "Oh, I didn't like when you said this." I really don't care. But anyway. It's never my intentions to offend anybody. It's always my intentions to just shed light from my perspective. And one of the things that I wanted to say is that I've noticed, especially and I can only speak for my community of people, okay? I can only speak for the African American people that I know, where I grew up. I feel that African American people are too easily pacified. And what I mean by that is you have people that they say and do whatever it is in order for them to be able to get your vote. A lot of times,
the stimulus. We got a stimulus for you.
Let me tell you something. Remember, everybody was talking about the stimulus. Oh, I got 600. Oh, I've been stimulated, honey. I've been stimulated. I saw that all across Facebook. Okay, that's what people were saying, that they have been stimulated. Y'all nasty. Anyway, so fast forward. Some of us are virgins here. Okay. All right. So, anyways, fast forward. Fast forward. I was just like, okay, y'all got $600. Look at these multi-billion-dollar companies. They are getting millions in bailout money. Okay? Millions in bailout money. And you over here praising yourself because you got $600? Think about it this way. Did you hear any of these companies or any of these CEOs, any of these CFOs, the chief financial officers, going to prison, going to jail, or anything like that? Y'all ain't hear that, did y'all? No. Because these people, they gave them money. The same way they gave you money. They gave you $600 and you were satisfied with that. They turned around, they gave you $1,200. You were satisfied with that. When Biden got in office, he gave you $1,400. When President Biden got in office, my apologies, let me put some respect on his name. Y'all were satisfied with that.
Who he gave 14 to? I ain't getting no 14.
Yes, he did.
That was if you had kids.
That was if you had kids.
I got them. They didn't send my 14.
Oh, well, see, baby, that means that you need to go back and redo your taxes then. But anyway, so my thing is that people were too easily pacified because they were getting this money and, they got the crab bowls and the shrimp bowls and all of this stuff every weekend. And, some people were, they did okay with it. They went out, they got cars and stuff like that because they needed them. Other people, they went out, they splurged because it was, it's free. No, it's not free because guess what? They changed the tax laws on you. And this is why I always say you have to be mindful of what goes on, because when President Trump was in office, I don't know if you all paid attention, but the tax laws changed. Fast forward, the same things that you would have been able to use as a write-off prior, now this year, you weren't able to do that. All of a sudden this year, you have less things that you can write off, but you have more expenses. You have the cost of inflation is horrible. I mean, I just literally left the grocery store. For a half a watermelon, it's $3.99. $3.99. Well, honey,
Half.
I can just go on down here to Juan Carlos, that's on the side of the road, and get me one, get a whole one for $4. And I was just sitting here and I'm like, are you serious? A dozen of eggs. When my mom came up here, when I first bought this house in 2020, we went to this store down the street from my house. It's called Lido. And my mom can attest to this. I was sending pictures, and when my mom came up here, my mom was like, "Are you serious?" Because I had to take her to the store. Like that was like an outing for us. Like we were so excited. We had to go to the grocery store, and I was in there and I showed her. I said, "Mother, do you see this? This is This is 18 eggs. Okay, a dozen and a half for 72 cents, 73 cents." My mama was just like, "Boy, they will be knocking these people across the head in Miami." A gallon of milk was only $2 up here. A gallon was $2. Now, fast forward, the same product is double, triple, quadruple the amount. You look at gas. I use premium gas. Every time I drive by the gas station, I just want to cry because, honey, ain't nobody going to tell me this is gas from last year. I'm sorry. Ain't nobody going to tell me that. But anyway, I said all that to say this. People are too easily pacified. When Hillary Clinton was running for president, she ended up doing an interview, and they said, "So what are some of the things that you keep in your purse?" She ends up saying that she keeps hot sauce in her purse. Let's stop right there for a second. She was being interviewed by an African American. So automatically, who is she trying to appeal to? Because their audience, that person's audience particularly, was African American. So let's just use the African American people. They're like, "Oh, she down, but she carry hot sauce in her purse." You idiot. And I'm saying it in general, you idiot. It is not the fact that she was carrying hot sauce. She's trying to appeal to you because she wants your vote. I feel that in this election that is coming up, people need to stop with the emotional stuff, and you need to vote for who is going to be the best person for you. And that's in every single election that you have coming up. Every person that, "Oh, well, I'm gonna vote for this person because, I really think that they're gonna do something for me." No, you have to remember they can only do what the laws allow them to do. It's not about you. It's about the people as a whole. And a lot of the times, the people that are complaining the most are the ones who ain't got no damn job. They ain't got no pot or a window to throw it out of. And I'm not, as my grandma say, "Dang, you ain't got no pot to piss in or a window to throw it out of." And my thing is just that, like, you are too easily pacified. Make these people work for your vote. Make them work for your vote.
Prince, one of the things I want to say is it's time that we start back engaging our children of color. We're not engaging our children of color on civic engagement. They don't even understand why. I need to talk up. Hold on. Y'all need me
to go. That's perfect. I was telling you to talk up. I didn't want to interrupt you.
You could have. I thought your ears was messed up, but
oh no, darling.
I was like, "Oh no, what's going on with your ears?"
I can't.
Our children, our young people. When we looked at the numbers, just locally, I looked at the numbers, and in the city I live in the county I live in, only 39% of the young people 18 to 21, that graduating class that I was looking at voted or even registered. And so,
but you know why?
Huh?
You know why?
Why? It was like 31%.
You know why? Because we are in a completely different age. See, I told somebody this in regards to like movies and films, like the actors and actresses. I said, all of our greats are dying off. Yeah. And the generation that we're being left with is actually the generation that we have right now, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
This generation as quote unquote, they'll say, "Oh, I have too much to lose. Oh, I can't get out there and do that. Oh, I'm not finna go protest. Oh, I'm not finna do that. Oh, I don't need my job to see me out there doing. What about if these people," sweetheart? No, go ahead, honey.
You know what? You just made me think about Selma and think about the road. That's where so many young people think about the elders and the grown people that were on those route or on those sit-ins. There were young people who understood their purpose, who were having conversation with grown people about not only their responsibility to self, but their responsibility to the community, not only their responsibility to the community, but to those that were to come. And I think there's a missing link where people just feel like that the only thing that exists or can exist is what they see right now. I feel like eyes are shut to that there's a future. I'm on the move for the future. I'm on the move intentionally because I know there's greater to come. But if I'm only sitting worried about what's here right now, I cannot even grasp hold of that there's a tomorrow.
Mm.
There's a stuck moment. But when you think about it, it's empowerment, it's power when they understand the laws. There are some that are elders who have been in these high positions and who have been making all the money and who claim the name for themselves, who don't want to hand over that wisdom, that knowledge, and that understanding. But baby, when you hand it over, when you share it, that means your cup runneth over. And that means there's a living legacy that's taken on. That means you have someone that can take what you built and break it apart and rebuild it in a way that still gives life to you. And that's my belief. I don't want somebody to do it like me. I want somebody to understand what I've done and do it better than me. And I think we do have a generation that's covering and hovering and micromanaging because they want carbon copies of themselves. And they want those who are going to vote like they vote, speak like they speak, eat what they eat, go where they go. And I think it's time out for that. We're no longer there. We should have never been there in complacency. But I think it's a hindrance because our young people are dying at a rate higher than those that are right above me. And that doesn't make sense. So who's going to take over after me? When I'm going to be able to retire now? I'm sorry. I had a moment.
No, you're fine, honey. So let me ask you this. Let me ask you this, just to change gears just a little bit. So with that being said, do you believe that a woman, and the only reason I'm saying this is because we have our VP that is a woman. Do you believe that a woman stands a chance this election cycle to take the most powerful seat in the United States?
I'm going to be honest with you. I was not expecting Kamala Harris. I was not expecting, I think, and you know what? I'm going to get some inbox messages behind this. Kamala Harris was the safe route. Sometimes I think we are so still stuck in just what is Black supposed to look like.
Yeah.
And what I mean by that is, we need somebody of Black ethnicity, but, let's not get too Black. We still need the young lady who, is able to hang a suit when needed and looks just Black enough to make the ticket okay. I'm going to be honest with y'all. I was really hoping he would choose Stacey Abrams. Really hoping. Now, do her politics only go so high? Yes, they do. But baby, if you need a Black woman standing behind you that is no punk, Stacey Abrams would have been the choice for me. But Stacey Abrams might be just a tad too Black.
Too Black. Come on, tell it.
See, I believe that's one of the reasons that Justice Jackson got so much backlash, because there were a lot of people that were just like, she's a great person, she's highly educated, but I'm gonna have to say no. And it's like, are you serious? It's almost like when Mrs. Obama, how they were just like, oh, you have Harvard and Yale in the same room, but it's coming from the same person. And a lot of times what I've learned is that sometimes people are intimidated by you. Prime example, I was at work today. Okay. I was on the plane and I treat everybody the exact same. I'm in the exit row. I told everyone to take their headphones out because I have to make sure that you're listening to me. I don't know if you're the FAA or not. All right. So I get to everyone. I need to know if you're able and willing to assist in case of an emergency. That's when the people normally go, yes, 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 yes. I get to this guy. He's like moving around, putting his seatbelt on. I see one headphone in, but I'm like, maybe he has the other one out. I said, sir, I need your answer. He looks up and he goes, what? Oh. At that point, I'm like, you know how those cartoons, you can see the temperature gauge going up. So anyone that knows me knows that when I get annoyed at work, I automatically go to the smile. We call it the flight attendant smile. And I said, I need to know if you're able and willing to assist in case of an emergency. You notice the voice changes as well, right? So then he goes, oh, what am I doing that for? I said, did you not hear anything that I just stated? And he goes, no, you didn't tell me to listen. I said, actually, I did. I said, what? Because you want my individualized attention, I'll repeat it. He goes, you don't have to say it with an attitude. I said, unfortunately, I do not have an attitude, but you are projecting your own insecurities onto me to say that I have an attitude because you are actually embarrassed that I have to repeat it to you. So let's start over from the top, okay? And I go, because see what you not gonna do, you not finna play me in front of these people. And my mom knows because I be calling her, telling her what you're not gonna do. You're not finna play me and pretend as though I'm doing something to you when in actuality, it was your own ignorance that caused you to be embarrassed. And now you're trying to make it seem as though I did something to you. So I repeated it. I said, so we're back where we were. I need to know if you're able and willing to assist in case of an emergency. Yeah, whatever. I said, okay, let's stop for a second. If you do not want to sit here, I am more than welcome. I'm more than happy to grab someone else that would be more than happy to take your leg room. Just let me know if this is going to be an issue or anything of the sort. Okay? Are we okay? Are you going to be able to adhere to flight attendant instructions going forward? Yes. That changes the entire dynamic of the conversation. One thing that I love about Stacey Abrams is that woman does not back down.
Ever.
She does not back down. They did not want that. The same thing that you got when you got Justice Jackson. See, Justice Jackson, she's nice though. She's nice because she has to play the game because she's outranked. She's not outranked, she's outnumbered. Stacey Abrams, on the other hand, she don't care. Now, Kamala Harris,
no games.
Not at all. Kamala Harris, now, could he have found a better constituent? Yes, he could have. I feel as though that there were so many other more qualified people that could have actually been on that ticket with him. However, I believe that for her, just like I told you all last week, she didn't even identify as being African American. But however, she changed that because what happens? The same way that African Americans have power in their money, we do not control even half of the money in the United States. However, we have the most spending power in the entire United States. What does that tell you? That means that there is power in what you have. My mom knows that when I go in somewhere, and let's say that I walk in, I don't say anything. You look at me when I come in. First of all, I ain't gonna say nothing to you. This your store. You work here. You need to say hello to me when I come into your store. I'm just being honest. Even if I don't say anything to you, it should be cordial. You should be cordial enough to say something to me. Hello, how are you doing? If you don't say that, I'll walk around the store. I'll get close enough to you so I can get your name. And then I'm gonna write a complaint. I'm not going to spend my money and I'm going to leave because I've been in several situations where I've gone into stores. You don't say hi to me, but then you have a Caucasian person that walks in and then, oh, hi, how are you doing? Because that person in the United States, it's in their mind that the Black person does not have any money. But when they're ready to spend, they're going to spend. If you go to YouTube and you go, the art of selling to a Negro, there is a whole video that shows people how to sell to a Black person. So therefore, if you are not wise enough to realize that you have a target on your back and that you always have to be twice as good to get half as much, and that's not right, but that's just what it is. You are always going to be dead last. And in this situation that we're in right now, we're coming up to the election. I do believe that a woman, if we were in a different United States, would have an opportunity to win. But in the current state of the United States that we're in right now, a woman does not stand a chance. They just took away her right for her body to be able to go and get an abortion. So do you honestly think that they're going to even allow this person to be able to go and take the most powerful seat in the United States?
No. But the country was worried about Hillary's emails, though.
Oh, okay. Baby. Okay. Now, let me tell you something real quick. what I think about Hillary Clinton's emails, because I remember they were just like, oh, well, you deleted this and you deleted that. I said, if I ever ran for president or any office, any elected office, the first thing that I would do is stand on the stage and I'm going to go, before we start, my government name is, and I say government because I have a pseudonym that I go by. However, my government name is X, Y, and Z. I'm going to put all of my skeletons out there in the closet. All of my skeletons in the closet. Let me tell you every last one of them. Now that we have that out in the forefront, let me go ahead and let's get to my platform. Because the skeletons of what I did when I was 25 years old, 24 years old, everyone has a past. Everyone has done something stupid. Did I do something where it was a hit and run? No. Have I done something where I was drunk and I murdered someone? No. Have I done any of those things? No. However, I understand that in politics, people like to dig and get to the dirt because they want to distract you from that person's platform. The dirt has nothing to do with who that person is. That could have happened, 40, 50 years ago. And you're talking about something that no. Why does that matter? Everyone has a past. There is no one that is perfect. I remember I was having this conversation with my coworker, and this passenger, all in our Kool-Aid, honey, and didn't even know the flavor, and was just like, oh, well, I'll just tell you all something. I'll give you my piece, and, I'm going to be done with it. So we looked at each other like, who asked you for your piece? But anyway, so he goes, if you're not perfect, you shouldn't run in the first place, because people scrutinize you.
No one's perfect. No one's perfect. Sorry.
Hold on. I said, sir, with all due respect to you, and I hope that this does not come across as being rude to you because that's not my intentions, but we were not even talking to you. So we didn't ask you. I said, so we didn't ask you for your opinion. Well, I mean, when you talk about things like that, I said, no. Let me stop you for a second. My grandmother always said, mind the business that pays you. And unfortunately, we were not addressing you. We were not talking to you. As I respect what you're saying, this conversation has nothing to do with you. And he shut up and he turned around. Once again, don't play with me. I will read you. Go ahead, Doc, because I see that you wanted to say something, girl.
No, I'm there, but no, I'm done.
Oh, you look like I'm just saying, because think about it. These people are not nobody is perfect. Nobody is perfect.
It's thing like for some fool, right? We shouldn't be calling people fools, but for some ingrate to sit and speak on being perfect, I'm confused. Like there's not one perfect person on the face of this planet, not one. And that's the thing I laugh at when people choose to have like these nasty campaigns, these underdrivers to try to destroy a human being. You're not perfect. So if they truly wanted to go in and scrub your little box out that you got hid up in the corner, in the attic, wherever that John hid at, then what would you be looking like? And I'm like, why would you waste time doing that when you and I hate the fact that people get pleasure out of that. And if that person would do that to a person, what is that person really thinking or doing to your nation? What would that person do to the business?
I'm gonna say this, and I'm done with that part. So who are you to judge somebody off of what they did 30, 40, 50 years ago? What it boils down to for me is this: I am who I am today because God used my mistakes, worked them for my good, baby, like nobody else ever could. And I'm done talking.
Come on. Come on, prophetess. Come on, prophetess Saunders. Come on now. Shabba Shando.
Baby, yeah. I'm a different person today than I was yesterday. So if you worried about something I did 30 years ago, you worried about all the wrong okay.
I love it because you just landed it. Because I'm on the move. Our nation's on the move. And so if we remain who we were yesterday, are we really on the move? Are we really great? Because if who you were yesterday, can there really be greatness within you?
Come on.
The
Come on.
U.S. has a lovely landing of branding that we use to make everybody else look like they crap in comparison to us.
Yes, ma'am.
Well, we're dealing right here in this nation with God. Come on, a woman ain't even supposed to have control over her body in this nation. She can't even hold on. You can have kids by her. She can raise the kids, but you can't trust her to make this.
Most people in this nation are not even
what she want to eat no more in this nation.
Come on. She
don't know what health is for herself. She don't know what her body feels.
But you know what, Regina? Check this out. Most people are not even pro-life. They're pro-birth. Once they just want you to have the baby. Once you have the baby, they're like, oh, okay, my job is done. Like they had the baby. Look at all of these god doggone children that are sitting in foster care right now. That's why, like, it really annoys me when I sit, and I'm gonna say this and I'm gonna move on because we got one last topic. It really annoys me because all of these people that are sitting in foster care, all of these children, for all of these people that are like, oh, don't abort the baby. Okay, so why don't you go adopt one of these kids? Where were you when that single mama actually needed to pay her light bill and she had no assistance? The daddy had done walked out. And then it's like you're holding this woman to a standard, but you're not willing to hold these men to a standard. You're not willing to go back and say, hey, you're a deadbeat dad. You need to go and you need to come back. Like, what is wrong with you? No, like you went out, you done made this child, and you leave the woman to bear your burdens together. Raising a child is not easy. That's why I ain't got none.
Where were you when she was reliving the trauma daily within her life and ready to kill herself?
Come on.
And gets pregnant and find out she's pregnant and doesn't want to live or allow the baby within her to live. Where were you? Where were you when the mental health industry is on an overload right now? And trying to figure out how to meet the needs for those that are struggling. Were you the person that was there that wanted to give her the next medication that had her struggling and ready to commit suicide too? Hold on, where were you when she lost her job and she didn't know where she was going to live at and was sleeping the couch to couch and ended up raped? Somebody tell me, where were you? Where were you when she already had them 3 kids and end up something happened? She let's say her tubes was tied and she wasn't supposed to get pregnant again because she had already went through the procedure to make sure that there was none. But it so happens that she gets pregnant and she can't afford to take care of another baby. Where were you? Where were you when the man in the house? See, I keep going with the where were you?
Okay.
Where were they? Regina, I'm gonna cut in real quick. Where were you when this 10-year-old little girl was raped a few days ago and now she's pregnant? And the fact that childbirth on a 10-year-old, and you will not even this little girl had to take with her parents, go across state lines to try and get an abortion, and they denied the abortion because they talked about her age. Where were you then? Where were you when whoever this man was, this nasty so-and-so that needs to be castrated? Yes, I said it. You touched a 10. I have a nephew that's 10. I have a little cousin that's 10. And I'm
my daughter is 11.
And so for me, it hits a little too close to home for me. Because I'm like, baby, if you touch one of them, you might as well go ahead and cuff me now, because I'm going to try and do something to you that ain't even legal. And that doesn't. Oh, let me bring it in. Let me bring it in.
I love that you're bringing it in, but I want to say this. Who are you to choose or refuse for someone to make choices for themselves?
Child, you know what? I can go on and on with these, but let's switch gears a little bit, y'all. Let's switch gears, okay? Because we're going to leave y'all on a happy note. Okay? All right. So let me go ahead and let me ask you all this question. So now, I ain't gonna ask this one. I'm gonna ask a different one. If you rolled over tomorrow and you had $100 billion in your bank account, okay? Matter of fact, I ain't gonna even ask y'all that one. No, I'm gonna hold that one. I ain't gonna do that one. Creflo Dollar. Let's gossip. Creflo Dollar. So y'all didn't read when he talked about about tithing. We've been doing it all wrong. Did y'all read that?
No.
Okay, I'm gonna hold that one then. We're gonna go back to the other one because I don't want. Okay. So anyway, he's so you wake up tomorrow, you got $100 billion. What is the first thing, Regina, that you would do? Let me rephrase that. Besides call me and say, hey, I'm giving you a wire transfer. You should receive it within an hour. Besides that. So what would be the first thing that you do, Regina, besides that?
I know my first would be I'll take my that first tenth and donate it to wherever I feel like the Lord has called me to donate it to.
That's what I said. Like, that's what I said after you give me my money. That's what I said after that.
Well, most people that know me,
girl, come on.
Most people that know me knows that it's going overseas in an offshore account. Most people that know me, because I don't need America to touch nothing right now. The way America's set up, I need to make sure I get all my money, baby, all my money, right? And I know there will be trust set up for my grandchildren and my children, right? But then I would probably build a school. I know I would build a school. I know I would build a school to educate BIPOC populations of students and do the work where they will have positive racial identity, where they will learn how to love themselves, love their culture, love their history, and that I would assist them in developing their path where they could arrive at their true authentic selves in the fields they're called to. I have a vision for that because I see in public school systems there's so much simulation going on. So much racing for the test score, for the dollar to come into the school, that I feel like our BIPOC community has been, and not only the BIPOC community, because I have some lovely young Caucasian kids that I love dearly, and they struggle within the public school system.
Okay. What about you, pretty girl with 20 pearls?
Well,
I'm pretty sure giving me mine.
The first thing I would do is pray. Without a doubt, if I woke up and saw that in my bank account, I'm going to have to go to the Lord in prayer. Okay? The second thing I would do, and this is good for me because this is what I teach. So the second thing I would do is I would take that lump sum and break it all the way down. Baby, it would be money all over the place. Because you can collect interest off of that one lump sum, or you can collect interest off of several one lump sums. So, the key to having a bunch of money is understanding how that money works for you. We talked about this briefly in a previous show. So many folks win the lottery or come into some type of inheritance or whatever and be broke by the end of the year because they don't have the earthliest clue what they're doing with it. I'm assuming if it's already hit my bank account, chances are I've paid taxes on it. So we just going to assume I don't owe the government jack. Okay. But my next step would be to break it down and put names on it, put people's names on it. So if they come for me, everybody else is straight. My kids are straight. My family's straight. You cannot have money in any account just by itself. There should be several and they should have different names on them. It's the same concept of, like a drug dealer having a drug house. It's the reason why money is in one wall and another wall and under the floor and in the backyard. There's reasons for that. You might find half the stash, but you ain't gonna never find the whole stash. That's not gonna go down. So, and then I would probably seek one of my favorite financial advisors just to be sure that that I leave generational wealth. Mm-hmm. If money dies when you die, it really didn't have a point. You know what I'm saying? So you have to find some investments that for a fact will be long-term and something that you can build upon for the future. Now, you want your kids to be straight. I want my grandkids to be straight, but I want my grandkids to be straight, not off of my back, but off of good work and good measure. You're not getting ready to inherit grandma's money just because you and grandma's bloodline. I didn't have it that way, and you won't either. Mm-hmm. My objective is not to have generational spoiled brats, but generational knowledgeable citizens. So you don't get to just get it because I had it. It doesn't work like that. Not for me. It didn't work like that for me. It if I had to share something personal real quick, my father left me and my sisters a considerable amount of money. However, he was smart enough to build it for retirement. So we can't even touch it till we're 55. Now, most folks would say, what if you don't live to be 55? Well, then that's when it gets passed down to the next generation for that very age. But he already knew what time it was when I turned 18. So he was like, nah, boo, we're not getting ready to do none of that. We're going to put an age on this. And when you get there and you get some sense and you have some wisdom and you understand what's what, then you can reap the benefits of this. But, you know, it's so much people that come into money and just don't know what to do with it. So my goal would definitely be to teach financial literacy. I team up with Regina and get in these schools and start this financial literacy program, because especially our folks, our kids, they are so behind the power curve. So behind the power curve. If they had the teachings, we wouldn't be 30 and 40 years old trying to figure out when the next Jordans drop. We'd be 30, 40 years old trying to figure out when the next penny stock is going to hit $1, just $1 a share. Don't get me started.
Well, first of all, I need $1. You know, Ebony, I'm gonna just throw that out there. You know, make sure I'm gonna put it in my phone. 55. Make sure I request $1. Send a cash app. You know, $1. You know. Anyways, no. I'll go ahead and I'll close us out. The first thing, and I want you guys to like drop in. Tell us what you would do too. Okay. The first thing that I would do is I would pay my brother's house off. You notice I didn't even say I would pay my house off first. I would pay my brother's house off first. And then I would turn around and I would pay my house off. That'll be the first two things that I do. And then I would make myself, my brothers, my sister, my nieces and nephews millionaires. But, however, they would have to go to school to learn, and not college. They would have to go to school in order to learn how to manage it. And I'm talking about the school of life, meaning you would need a business guru mentor to school you, because certain things you don't learn in school. When you talk about investments in stocks, I'll just throw this out there. There is a new social media that is actually getting ready to launch. It's called Truly Social. It is supposed to be very similar to what Clubhouse should have been, but it's audio and visual. And on top of that, they are allowing you to monetize without having millions of people. Let's say that I tell, oh, you know, Ebony, you need to go ahead and you need to download this, girl. You need to jump on this. The same way how we did with Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and all of these other things. However, now they're paying you to have these people come onto the platform. It hasn't launched yet. Right now, they have 60 shares. If you're into stocks, check it out. 60 shares for only $117. So, which is incredibly good. But here's the kicker. It's 100% Black owned. 100%. So I will definitely say that having that amount of money makes things change. But if your mindset is still the same, you will always yield and have the same exact life. So because there's only so many cars that you can buy, you only can drive one at a time. It's only so much jewelry that you can have. You only can wear a few pieces at a time, unless you're like Mr. T and you just throw it all on. You know, you have to figure out something else to do. So I want to tell you guys, I really appreciate you all. Thank you all so much for hanging with us, rocking with us. It has been an incredible season. We will see you all in the fall. And I will say that we have some great guests that are coming on next season. And that's all I got for you guys. Thank you all so much. We'll see you next season. And love, peace, and hair grease. It is my birthday. So, yeah, that part.
Happy birthday to you.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday.
Regina, get us out of here, girl.
Hey, hey.